I'm Liz Beard. I'm Dean of the College of Liberal Arts at LSU Alexandria, and I'm here today in the Black Box with one of our absolutely fabulous students, Cora Snoddy, who is a senior theater major. So, Cora, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Well, I've been here for about 4 years, working very in depth with the theater program.
Yeah.
I've worked on, I want to say about 5 shows here. It would have been more, but COVID took
That's
a year
right.
of time. But I don't think there's been a show that happened here that I wasn't a part of. So
During your time as a student, you were?
yes,
Yeah,
I
very much.
was. Even if I wasn't on stage for certain things, I would do backstage or something like that. The only thing I didn't work on was speed dating that they did this semester,
Yeah.
but I was tangled up with Gatto, so.
That's right. Yep, that was a stellar performance. So, Cora, tell us a little bit about what brought you to LSUA as a student. I know you graduated from Pine Prairie High School, so that's...
Initially, I was looking at a bunch of different schools, if I'm going to be honest, but I had to look at what I could afford. Whenever I got here, I was very pleasantly surprised because I was worried that with it being a smaller area, it would be a small town school that felt confined or limited, and it's been the exact opposite of what I was concerned it would be, and it's definitely a school that I'm happy I ended up at, even though I initially just wanted to go somewhere affordable.
We are happy it worked out that way as well. Absolutely. You've been an absolute blessing to our programs and our departments. And that's one of the reasons we're talking with you today, is because you've done that thing where you got here and you found your niche and you plugged in with faculty mentors and you really maximized your student experience. So what would you say to other students about the opportunities that have been available to you at LSUA and how they can make sure that students maximize those opportunities?
Well, the number one thing I would say is that there's something for everybody. I mean, I came in initially planning to go into psychology, and the psychology program is awesome.
They are,
but
yep.
there was so much room and opportunity for me to experiment. And while initially I was afraid to, because I didn't want to, you want to fit into a box, especially when you don't know where you're going, but you have somewhat of an idea. You latch on to that and you don't want to step away. And the biggest thing I would say is that come in with some kind of plan if you have one, but don't think it has to be the end game. Because I think that no matter how wonderful our psychology department is, it's not where I was meant to end up.
That's right.
And again, there's so many avenues. There's so many groups on campus that you can meet with. There's so many events that go on campus. I mean, going back to theater, just since that's what I know the best, even if you're not interested in being a theater major, they take everybody who wants to audition. So just get out there and don't worry about making a mistake, because this is a really good time to make mistakes.
That's right, and to expand your world and to find out that you actually love something that you had no idea was
Exactly.
in your wheelhouse. So,
And again, it's one of the biggest principles of theater that you should never be afraid to look silly. And I think
I like that.
it needs to go into every avenue
That's
of
right.
life, because there's a lot of friends that I wouldn't have made if I didn't put myself out there and risk being embarrassed or risk seeming awkward. And I think that it's so easy, especially when you're coming into a college where you don't know anybody, or maybe you only know a couple people from high school, but you're trying to break away from that some, that you just pull into yourself more. I know that my first semester of college, I kind of was in a friend group, but not really. I didn't have many friends. I didn't get involved with a lot of things. I mean, I was in a show, but overall, I very much just kept to myself, and then I stopped worrying about being silly, and I went and reached out, and it really changed the trajectory of not just my college experience, but I think it's going to change how the rest of my life goes.
Yeah, I love hearing you say that, Cora. And I think that so many of our experienced students, and especially our students who have had that really good experience at LSUA, say that the single piece of advice that they would give their earlier version of themselves is to do that, make that leap earlier. You know, go ahead and let go of some of the boundaries we're setting upon ourselves and connect to other students, connect to the programming opportunities, and especially reach out to faculty,
Yes.
right? To take advantage of the thing that I think LSUA does very best, and that is mentoring students. Our faculty are so student-centered.
For sure. I mean, for example, Bob, or Mr. Harper, by this point I usually call him Bob, but
That's
I'll try
right.
to be a little more professional.
Yeah.
We don't have a big theater department. I think that currently I'm the only full theater focused major. And because of that, he had a lot of time to really put into just mentoring me and teaching me and guiding me, and it's been extremely beneficial. And it's an experience that I don't think I could have gotten anywhere else, because there was so much attention and care put into specifically making sure that I thrived, not just that the department thrived. And I think that although other departments aren't as small as our theater, it still very much has the energy of, it's not about making sure we have enough money or making sure that we have enough people at all times. It's making sure that the people that we have are well taken care of and they're well prepared to go into whatever field they're planning on going into.
That's right. Very intentional student relationships and mentoring, right? And I see that across campus in all of the disciplines, and I know that's something we're very intentional about in the College of Liberal Arts, is making sure we help students find that path that's right for them and then optimizing it.
Again, the level of care that they put into everybody makes it to where you feel a lot more equipped moving forward. I know that it's something that he brings up every time I see him, and every time I feel kind of embarrassed because I don't like to be super in the spotlight.
Ironically,
considering.
right?
But
Same here, yeah.
I did a memoir for Dr. Gallagher, and now every time I see him, he mentions the fact that he wanted me to publish it.
Yeah,
And I mean, I'm not mentioning that because I'm like, oh, look at me, he wants me to publish something. It's the fact that was 4 years ago.
Right.
And he still remembers and cares enough that he's like, yeah, I know that you did that. I remember that you did that. And I'm still going to push you because I know what you're capable of.
Absolutely. That won't end when you graduate, by the way. Just so you know. Once a general, always a general. Once one of our students, always one of ours.